What's going on, guys? Today I'll be doing a review of this Everlast C3 Pro Competition Groin Protector, so stay tuned.
Uber up the styles like miles and shit, like 60s funky worms with waves and perms, just sending junky rhythms.
Okay guys, so I have this Everlast C3 Pro no-foul protector on to show you how it looks like on the body and just the proportions of it. As you can see, I got mine in medium again, in size which accommodates anywhere between 32 to 34 inch waist. I'm a 30-inch waist, but I wanted to go a little bit larger just because I want to make sure I'm taking into account my clothing. So, you know, if I'm wearing a shirt, shorts, or if I'm wearing thicker sweatpants or a thicker sweatshirt, I just don't want to feel like I'm too restricted. If you go too small, then it gets really uncomfortable. It's too tight. So just keep that in mind when you do get a no-foul protector. But you can see here, proportions are good. You know, the cup is right over where it needs to be to protect your groin or cover your nuts up, so you don't, if you do take a low blow, you know, at least the punch is not coming directly on, and even if it comes at an angle, you do have that foam and the cup that protects it. And then the actual height of this groin protector, you can see it comes up right here. It's right at my belly button. So again, everyone's going to be different. Everyone has a different size torso, but for me in particular, I'm 5'8", about 145 pounds, and it's right here at my belly button. So it's nice for the kidneys. Obviously for your groin and for the hips. You're still open to body shots, so do keep that in mind. You know, a lot of times people will get something that sits up super high. Your groin protector is way up high. With this, in this case, this is right about where it needs to be, but you still have to really tuck your elbows in. But the good thing about this, just to show you, you know, if you're in your boxing stance and you have your elbows tucked in like they should be, you can see right here my elbows are right at the tip of this no-foul protector. So if a body shot comes in here, I don't really have to dip too much to really try to absorb that body shot on either side because of this no-foul protector being there. So obviously the shot, you want to deflect it with your elbow, and all you want to do is kind of compress down to block that shot. So it's really nice that you basically have that much length all the way down to maybe halfway down your hip, that you have that barrier protection right here from body shots or any kind of low blows. So you can see that, just the overall profile. I'll rotate it around for you guys. And you can see here it has the elastic bands right here on the back that connect to the lace-up closure right here. Again, this lace-up closure, all this does is keep this elastic band together. If I had a choice to do it again, I probably would have gone with the Velcro. I think there would be a little bit more adjustability with that. And then you can actually see the elastic straps on the side right here. Do a nice job of keeping the actual cup tucked up into your body and holding everything into place. You can see that they're not too tight, but they do, you know, they grab onto my body, but they're not super tight where they're just hugging up against my ass. So it's kind of nice that those are a good size. And again, you can see the hip protector on this side as well. So here's the one thing about these to keep in mind when you do have this. It does take some time to break in for the hips, because if you're bobbing or weaving or if you're crouching, this hip is going to this wing is actually going to dig right into your quad. So right when you dip down, you can actually see that this dips right into here, and it basically pushes the groin protector up. I know that Rival has one where the wings are actually, there's a hinge point, so when you do crouch, it'll fold open. So to keep that in mind, that there is a break-in period for this. And or you can go with one that doesn't have wings at all whatsoever, where it just cuts across horizontally, and if you do crouch down, you don't have to worry about this thing rising up into you. So it's not a huge deal. It's just more of a convenience or a creature comfort thing that people like to see when it comes to these no-foul protectors. But overall, it's really comfortable. It does a nice job of protecting my hips, my groin, my kidneys. Obviously, again, you're still open for body shots, to keep that in mind, but that just that just helps remind you to keep your defense nice and tight. So let's go ahead and do the review. Hey, what's up guys? Carlo here, and today I'll be doing a review of this Everlast C3 Pro Competition No-Foul Protector, aka Groin Protector. You can get it in just a standard Everlast color scheme with the black, gray, and yellow, and you have a choice between a rear lace-up closure, which I opted for, or a hook and loop rear closure that uses Velcro. Sizing wise, you have a choice between small to extra large. I opted to go with the medium, which is accommodates anywhere between 32 to 34 inch waist. I typically wear 30-inch waist pants, but I got a little extra bit of room just because you have to accommodate and you have to think about what kind of clothing you're wearing when you're putting this on. So if you're wearing some pretty thick jogging pants or shorts, a t-shirt or even a sweatshirt or a sauna suit, keep that in mind when you get that, because last thing you want is to get a no-foul protector that's too small. One thing to also note is this is a different model than the Everlast Safe Max no-foul protector. Visually they look very similar, but the Safe Max is a little bit more robust. It comes up a little bit higher on your torso and gives you a little bit more protection around your midsection. So do keep that in mind. It is also $20 more. So the Safe Max version of the no-foul protector is $99, so $100, where this C3 Pro competition groin protector is $79, so $80. So you're saving about $20 compared to the Safe Max version of that no-foul protector. Now, no-foul protectors, the main thing for this is protection, mainly in your groin area, as well as your kidneys, your hips, and sometimes your liver, just depending on how high up this rises on your torso area. And there's different companies that sell all kinds of no-foul protectors. This one in particular, I really like because it's full leather construction, so you can see that it uses full leather construction all throughout, minus the backside, which is the elastic with the lace-up closure. So it's really nice in the fact that you do have some flexibility in the back. So if you do get a size that's a little bit smaller than what you need, you can see that it does have some flexibility to stretch it out. And then you have this lace-up closure here as well. One thing to note about this lace-up closure, which I found kind of interesting, very similar to like their headgear, is that it doesn't really matter how tight you tie these laces. The actual flexibility and the tightness actually comes from these elastic bands on the side of the lace-up closure. To me, this lace-up closure, all this does is just keep these elastic bands together. So if I were to do it again, I may have opted to go with the Velcro closure just because there might have been a little bit more adjustability to make it tighter. Because with these laces right here, you can see that it doesn't really make it any tighter or looser. It just keeps the two pieces of leather tabs together for the elastic to connect to. You can see that it does have the size tag right there, as well as where it's made. This groin protector is made in China. And it does have the EverDry moisture wicking material that's lined on the inside of the groin protector, which is really nice, especially when you're sweating. It helps wick away the moisture and it doesn't absorb a lot of sweat. So that's a really nice feature. You can see that the top has this gray piping, which is a nice little added touch to give it a nice look right there. The front does have the standardized Everlast logo that's screen printed, as well as the C3 foam that's screen printed on this hip protector right here. One thing to note when you're looking at this, you can tell a lot of people call it the wings. You have these hip wings right here on both sides, which is supposed to give you a little bit more protection, especially against low blows, aside from just your groin getting low blows. But if you were to get like a hook down below right here, it's going to protect that hip bone of yours, so you don't get any kind of injury or bruising on your hips. The downside to having these wings is that if you're to squat down, or if you're trying to work any kind of evasive movement, is that these wings sometimes, because they're not flexible, is they will push up on this no-foul protector and you'll feel it kind of rise up on your torso. I know that there's some other models. I know that Rival actually makes a groin protector that has these wings as well, but they actually put a hinge point right here. So if you do crouch down, the wings are able to flex out. So, not a huge deal. I think over time, eventually, me using this more and more, this wing is actually going to flex out and it's going to be a lot more flexible. It's not a huge ordeal, but it's just something to know. I know that Everlast also does make no-foul protectors, and so does other companies that don't have this wing. It's just basically a horizontal line right here without the wing, which gives you a little bit less hip protection, but gives you a little bit more flexibility when you're crouching, or if you're bobbing and weaving underneath shots. The actual cup on the inside is a good size to accommodate everybody there, and it is made out of plastic, so it doesn't add a lot of weight to the actual groin protector. It's a nice plastic polymer on the inside right there, and the actual padding, the C3 foam padding that goes around the entire groin protector, I'd say it's about maybe a 3/4 inch layer of padding that goes around. Has a pretty firm density to it. Doesn't feel soft at all. It's nice and firm. The actual stitching and the construction of this groin protector is pretty good. You can see that the stitching that rolls throughout the groin area looks pretty good. The main concern I've had, the same thing I had in a lot of other groin protectors in the past, is how long this elastic strap is going to work. Typically with the groin protectors, this elastic strap that hooks around the bottom of your legs is what's going to start to tear over time. So, one thing you would like to see is maybe some reinforcement on the tabs right here that connects to the bottom of the wings on both sides, just to give it a little bit more reinforcement. I do like that on the bottom right here, at the bottom of the cup, they do have this V leather strap right here that connects and is stitched into the elastic to kind of give it a hinge point for flexibility. Rather than the elastic pieces just going straight to the cup, you do have this piece of leather right here that holds it together. So that's a nice added touch and gives it some sturdiness as well. You can see that the C3 foam is also carved out around the cup as well. So you do have a nice layer of foam all around the cup, and it's raised up a little bit higher. So if you were to take a low blow or a shot that came in at an angle, it can absorb a little bit more of the punch inside there. So one thing, again, that I would have liked to seen is a little bit more of adjustability with the lace-up closure in the back. If I were to opt for it again, I would have probably got the Velcro closure, just because I think the adjustability is a little bit better. But for $79, it's a really nice groin protector, full leather construction with the EverDry material on the inside. I know that Everlast sometimes does discounts, which is an added plus. So sometime during the holiday season or any kind of holiday that they do a discount, you might want to take advantage, and you can get this groin protector for a pretty good price and be happy with it. Only improvements, again, I would say would be to maybe put a hinge point on the wings right here. That way you have some flexibility when you're bobbing and weaving or crouching, so that this doesn't rise up on your torso. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you guys leave them down below in the comments box. I'll make sure to put the link in the description box on where you can find this groin protector. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.